Hey guys, I'm here to get into Midsommar, which is directed by Aster, released in the year 2019, and this is a project that's just absolutely insane from start to finish. Very insane, well, very incredible how it's depicted, and just a really original kind of influence that needed a lot of time to wash over. I saw this about 5 times, and I was not into it initially, but I think as time has passed and marinated, this just reveals itself as a very intensely wonderful drama in guise of like a horror, by way of a horror depiction, but it's just kind of focusing on just the downfall of just an emotional trauma of of basically breakup, perspective on breakup. Um, and it just ends up kind of just being this really insane kind of just story of just perhaps just getting into unknown territory, and after everything escalating to a very disturbingly far level. There's all kinds of just shocking moments all throughout. So many sequences that are just very transcendental in its own kind of way. The entire project just kind of pieces out as just a very psychological depiction. It's just paces out in a very original way from Inari Aster's mark. It's a different tone and atmosphere from Beau is Afraid or Hereditary. It's just kind of like just again like a drama that just has all kinds of shock value around it, and it's quite a journey going through all this. Like extremely colorful directing. Some of my favorite shots that have held up every time. Like I've always thought this was like technically amazing, but I always needed just a lot of time just to kind of take in the story and just see how much it just resonates in a lot of ways. Kind of feels very influenced by a lot of the Robert Eggers, like in The Witch, especially. Just very disturbing, very bizarre. Also, just feels very in the moment in a lot of ways, depicting a kind of just. It's kind of like a modern upgrade on like a Wicker Man, but it feels so just down to earth and realistic that it just really needs a lot of time. It's kind of like and it's almost just like to me like a wall breaking kind of moment of filmmaking, and you just kind of see a lot of just how far just wonderful cinematography, how far this wonderful just soundtrack and characters just take a story. Everything about it just feels really down to earth and just plenty of realism all throughout. That's just depicting a really just dark and warped kind of festival all throughout. It's just a very entertaining kind of just folklore perspective from start to finish. Very uncomfortable and anxiety inducing all throughout. It just has a wonderful way about it from start to finish. Very disturbing. A lot of these scenes just really helped me. A lot of like wasn't right. It's just like you almost just kind of find a personal level of connecting with this kind of film, and like when that moment happens, it really does hold up as a very timeless kind of foundation. Even reminds me a lot of like even some like strangely enough like some Terrence Malick influence like going into this, as well as I recognize the cinematography and just the extent of wonderful shots going into all of this. It's just really a wonderful modern horror depiction, which just looks at frightening scenarios from a colorful depiction in a folklore kind of sense. And there's just a lot to appreciate of how down to earth and realistic this entire project feels in its own kind of way. All kinds of just incredible acting and characterization as just these festivals are just kind of just taking extremely far to extend the madness in ways that are very influenced by guys like Darren Aronofsky, Lars von Trier. This just completely holds up from start to finish. It really goes strongly recommended. It's the just original depiction. Like I said, for me, I needed some time with this one because I think this was a pretty mind bending one for a while. But I think after a while, like I said, as some time I spent away from it, I only appreciate the value of this more with age and in time. So this is strongly recommended. It's just a very original moment in Aster's filmography from start to finish.